Going straight to you, no fucking around. Big blood is here. What is going on, you legends? How are you all this evening? It is so good to see you. Look at this, it's Tuesday night, we're chilling, we're kicking back, we've started the week. And we're going to start the week with another Jimna interview. Been looking forward to this one because this band is a little bit hard to do research on. Because they don't really keep up too much on the socials. I have a feeling it's like you got to be there or be square kind of deal. They haven't even really delved into the Spotify realm yet, so I've got a lot of fucking questions to ask in regards to that. So, before we get into this interview, have you all got your Jimna tickets yet? Have you? Have you got your Jimna tickets yet? Because Jimna's coming up quick. It's coming up like real quick. Gonna get some music going in the background. It's coming up real quick, and we really want you there. We want to see so many people there. So make sure you click the link, go check out and buy tickets. And also, for any of you people that didn't know, if you use Dogtags on the Mosh Ticks link, you will get a discount. I don't know exactly what the discount is, so I'm not going to tell you what the discount is. And if you also buy those tickets off Mosh Ticks, a percentage of those ticket sales goes directly back to the bands that you use in those tags in the promotional code area. So make sure you get onto that, people, all right? Because it's coming. Jimna's coming. And without further ado, let's get into this interview. Oh, geez, the rhyming schemes are just going sick tonight. That was actually corny as shit, and I'm really not proud of myself. I'm so sorry. Regardless, okay, let's get into it. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We have the skin monkey, or the filthiest skin monkey of them all, Grant from Dogtags. Grant, how you going, bud?
What's up, buddy? Have a good one?
Mate, I am having an absolutely fantastic night now that you're here and we're kicking back. Oh, cracking the cans too. Show us what you're drinking. Show us what you're drinking tonight.
No free advertising around here.
Nah, give him the free advertisement. We got to see what you're drinking, mate.
Mate, cracking a furf right now.
I do enjoy a furphy. I do enjoy a furphy.
Yeah. It's really whatever's on sale at the bottle shop.
And I have just been informed that it looks like Chavez Cartel have pulled out of Jimna. So hot, straight off the presses. There you go.
Chavez pulled out.
Yeah.
Mate, that's rough news.
Yeah, I've just messaged
good
Kaz now. There you go. It's all happening right as we speak. This is how live it is, people. This is how live the Jimna news is coming into you. But Grant, how are you this evening?
Mate, I'm great for a Tuesday. Gotta love a Tuesday.
Yeah, especially now that you're kicking back with me.
Yeah, mate. Like I was saying before, I'm pretty sure we're Tuesday kind of people, you know?
Yeah, well, Tuesday has to be probably the most underrated day of the week, you know? Your week started. You know, Mondays are just, ugh. Tuesdays are alright. I like a Tuesday. I'm a big fan of a Tuesday. That's actually why I don't really like streaming on Monday.
Well, after Monday, it's all downhill. That's what I figure. It's like a slippery slide, you know? Like you climb the ladder for Monday, and then it's the rest of the week's just like this.
Mate, it is 100%. 100%. So, dude, tell me. I've been like I said to you off stream, man, I've been having a little bit of trouble trying to find some info, some research. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of photos, there's a lot of posters of shows and stuff like that. What is the, like, even Spotify? There's no Spotify. You can only find their stuff on SoundCloud. These guys are like OG and out hard. What is the go there? Is that a purposeful thing or a laziness thing?
Well, a little bit from column A and a shitload from column B.
Ah, okay.
We've had a mantra for a while now. It's a bit old school. It's, look, if you're not going to bother watching us live, don't bother. You know, like see us live, because that's pretty much where we live. You know, we're a live show, we're a live act. We are, as much as I say that, we are currently recording an album, first one ever in a decade.
Wow.
Actually, the first one ever for Dogtags, yeah. And it's really, look, at the moment, it's hasn't happened any faster because I had a baby a year and something ago. So we've
Congratulations.
got guide tracks down. We've got everything good to go. All the guitars are sorted. It's really down to me getting those drum tracks sorted, so young Ryan can jump on and throw his groovy bass down, and then we get Scotty in for some vocals, and we'll be done. But I'd say watch this space, but you could be watching for a while.
That's all right, as long as there's a space to watch, man. That's all that matters.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Because I've got to say, the stuff you guys do have on SoundCloud is very good.
Thank you very much.
Where did you guys record?
It was all me. I did all of it.
You recorded all that. That was going to be my next question. Where did you guys record it?
Nah, I'm completely lying to you.
Oh, this guy straight away. Come on, I love it.
Yeah. So look, I could. There's been so many tracks out there. We've been into so many different sort of versions of recording different things. We've done live recordings. We've done, and some of the SoundCloud stuff. I think, yeah, very very old. Been around a long time. Yeah, some we've never actually all got together in a studio yet and thrown down a studio album.
Ooh.
And we're pretty excited that it's happening, and you know, because we're working on it so hard and we've spent so much time sort of building these songs and getting them together, I think it's going to be something pretty special, to be honest with you.
Well, because you guys, like, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so there's two. What are the two songs that you put out on Spotify? I can't remember them now. I mean, on
honestly,
I'm gonna find it. Hold
you're gonna have to do the research.
Hold on. Hold on. I was listening to. I don't know why I can't find them this quick, because I was listening to them today. They were on that one. There we go. Head Above Water.
Head Above's a great song.
It is.
Head Above's been around for a long time.
It is an absolutely fantastic song. It gives me this mad sort of Dawsy feel with that repetition, but the way the licks come over the top as well. Like, you guys are very, very, very talented individuals. Like, how long have you been? Well, give us a little bit of a history of Dogtags, because you guys have said you've been around a long time. There's been no studio album, which absolutely blows my mind that you haven't even sort of gone down the path of getting a solid copy and just making people fucking buy that. Like, yeah.
It's called, we like having little secrets in our pockets, you know, and because we've got a really solid Dogtags fan base, and you know, they love coming to hear us, and I think that sort of adds to some of the mystery of it. Like, no one can go, you know, plug in their Spotify and listen to some Dogtags. Showing my age now, yeah, no one can pop a CD in the CD player and crank out on a Sunday afternoon with some beers. It's, you know, we find that when we play gigs, you know, we've got a really solid crowd, and they bring their friends and they talk to their mates about it, and we haven't even actively gone out there and sought fans. They just sort of come along. You know, we've got some really solid mates out there. We've got, you know, shout out to Steve, shout out to Paulie. We've got some really good mates that have just come along to nearly every gig we've ever played, and they just love us, you know, and we just want to push that love back to them. And so this is why we sort of came about deciding that we're going to put it down on an album, because people were asking for it. That's the only reason we really decided to do it, is because people were saying, look, when are you guys going to put an album out? So it was probably about 2 years ago, we really started thinking, all right, what songs are we going to put on there? How are we going to start, you know, building these songs in a way that people are going to appreciate? Because being a completely live act, sometimes the way we play it last week and the way we play it next week can be super different, because we've got a really good gel between the four of us. Sometimes we can just look at each other and know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do something silly and it's going to happen, and we just all work together and gel with it. And like, for me to have the freedom to do that, I've got, you know, a great bass player in Ryan. He is just, we've been in about 3 or 4 bands together, actually. We're both band sluts, you know, for a long time. And we got
percussion areas normally
we keep coming back to our love. Absolutely. And then young Jared, our lead guitarist, like, I've been playing in bands with him since he was 16, and he's in his 30s now. You know, and we all just have this gel, this mesh, And the fact that we got to come on to something that Scotty, our lead singer, he built this. This is basically um, not really his high school band, but when he was sort of 19, 20, when he first put his first band together, it was Dogtags. And he's gone through, I think I'm something like his sixth drummer, but on the longest serving one as well. Like I've been there for, it's got to be getting close to a decade now.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, and it just the way we all came together was just this mind meld, this merging of without sounding, too up myself, of just fantastic ideas and just a love of music and bringing it back to some basics. We get a little bit progressive sometimes. We get a little bit, we like to sort of mix and match a little bit of the genre, but at heart, we're a filthy pub band, and we just want to bring that back and build something around that. Um, People love dancing to uncomplicated stuff, so we just throw them the best of uncomplicated we can. Throw some 4/4 down there, get a great guy up front, throw down some solid beats, get a good funky little bass line going, and then Fingers O'Brien, young Jared, he's just a weapon unto himself, and it's a lot of fun to bring something that appears to be that simple, to a crowd of people that are just absolutely going off.
Well,
So,
mate, I'm telling you,
I don't know where I started, where I finished with that, but
doesn't mate,
yeah,
it doesn't matter because that formula that you've just explained there is pretty much the perfect formula for any pub band, Australian pub band. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
four blokes that absolutely love what they're doing, love each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate,
you've actually had the
if you ever
opportunity.
seen a live show,
No, like this is my big issue, and you guys say you guys are progressive and
yeah,
stuff like that. I got nothing to base it off, so I'm really interested to see what you guys do in a studio with a full album. Like considering the caliber of the two tracks you brought out just on SoundCloud, they're quite good tracks. Like they're solid as shit, and it's
sweet.
it's the old Metallica. It's the old Metallica formula. Yeah, it's how Metallica made it big, right? So they never ever ever used to promote any of their albums. Yeah, so they used to just word of mouth, 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 and then the reason why they called the Black Album the Black Album was because they said it was going to be as big as the White Album, and
Yep.
they done their first lot of promotion, and the thing went gangbusters, and they went a bit more commercial in comparison to like the prior albums, but dude, the formula is it's such like it's nothing I've heard done in such a long time, and it's so refreshing to hear that it still works. Like, was it? Here's my big question though: do you ever find it hard not having that solid frame, like not the solid framework, just say like an album or an EP or recordings that are sort of a lot easier to find for sing-alongs and stuff like that, because you sort of sell that basic good hard rock that everyone can dance, everyone can have a sing-along to, or are you just trying to get everyone to shake their asses as opposed to sing along?
Well, we get the crowd singing. Like
Yeah.
Scotty writes these lyrics that are, oh look, they are super interesting without being super complicated, And by the time the second chorus comes around, it's sing along stuff,
Ah,
He
good.
manages to write this really interesting stuff, Like we very much like to compartmentalize. We never tell each other what to play and how to play it and what to do, which is a lot of fun for me because and I can focus on, if this song's got to be a 4/4 basic, I can just do all day on the song, But that gives me a chance when it does need to get interesting. I can throw a bit of flair and throw a bit of, and bring it back. The same with Scotty with his lyrics. Like he can get really political. He can get really deep. He's written songs for his wife and his kids, and he's written songs for us, and he's written songs about his own personal experiences in life that are really complicated, cadences and really, really complicated ideas, but he can present them in such a simple way that everyone can just start singing along and everyone gets it, you know, and even just the way he creates the sound around the words, you know, it's super, super interesting and really easy to get. You know, it's not like a Tool album where you have to listen to it 30, 40 times before you actually understand what Maynard's trying to say, you know. Um, it's by the time that's like I was saying, by the time that second chorus comes around, you're singing along. You know, you're if you're not loving it, you're outside in the smoking area drinking a beer anyway. You know, and then but the next time we'll try and bring you back in. It's just we want to make this stuff palatable for the everyman without being so simple. It's like eating white bread. You know, we're
Well,
like the fairy bread of pub rock.
oh man, dude, I think if you guys had really got that much going on, I don't think you should ever release your stuff on Spotify. I think you should go back to the old school ways of doing it and just, man, you know what? You could be the exception and not the rule. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could actually go back to that, and because the worst thing I think you guys could possibly do at the moment, if you guys have such a following and you guys do have those sorts of numbers, you guys are up in the over thousands in your Instagram, and for a band that does very little as far as their social medias and stuff like that goes, as a part to promoting their shows and stuff like that, your Instagram's off chops. I love that. All your solos, all your photos, all your videos that you guys chuck on there, keep that up, because that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be a disservice to yourself, at least for the first year or so, after you bring out the album, to put it on Spotify, in my personal opinion.
I'd have to agree, because we love being this little hidden secret. You know, it's how we massage our musical egos. You know, like, because when people discover us live, the first time they visit live, there's something special about a live show. You know, and the first time you ever see a band live, it's just something special about that. And you know, we don't want to take that away from people. You know,
No,
we want their first experience with Dogtags to be awesome. Yeah.
no, but having that, you know, like having all those songs down so everyone can get to know the words properly, so every time they come to the shows they can, you know, or at least have something to get signed and stuff like that. You think of it as maybe think of it as like memorabilia that you can now transfer to the people.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way, and that way, if you never put it on Spotify, technically, you haven't. If it is a moral thing as to the reason why you don't put stuff on Spotify, you've never broken that. You're only doing yourself the service, and if people want to get your product, they have to buy the CD, and that's a cut and dry.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way we'll go. It's not a discussion we've had. It's not. We don't really sit down and we don't really discuss what we're going to do next and where we're going to head next and what the next decision is going to be. We try to make it as natural as possible. So without having that discussion, that's probably the way it's going to go anyway. We may end up on Spotify at some point. I don't necessarily have anything bad to say about Spotify. I myself have it, you know, and I listen to I listened to the Wayward Sons tonight. You know, I was dancing around with my kid. Listening to some Waywards on Spotify. So it's the product that had to it had to happen in this new world. Like let's be honest, I was born in the 70s. You know, like it was the tail end of the 70s, and I grew up. You know, and when I was in my 20s and I was working, had my first jobs, and every payday was. You'd go down to the music store and sift through and see if you could find something you may like. And it was taking that gamble as well. Like you'd buy a CD knowing you couldn't return it because it was shit.
Oh,
you know,
as soon as that little plastic came off, mate. As soon as that plastic tag came, the plastic wrapper came off. It was second-hand CD. Didn't even have to put it in the CD player.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. It was done. Like, and I grew up in a town, Mount Isa. Yep. Far northwest Queensland, mining town. Not the arsehole of the world, but if you stand on your toes, you can see it. You know? And it was on one of those sort of after work jaunts that I sort of walked in and I saw a Grinspoon album. I was like, who the hell are these guys? And I ended up buying it, and it changed my horizon of what music was. You know, because growing up in a town like that, you either had the country channel or the western channel,
Oh,
or
two of them.
you had the FM channel. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Country and
Or
western.
you had the. I think we didn't get Triple J until I was about 17 or 18, and and I grew up and there was one TV channel that turned off at 6 o'clock at night and
Oh,
came
jeez.
back on at 10 o'clock in the morning, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. You were sort of. I know I'm talking about 40 stories at once. My
Ah.
parents, that's what they do at night. They'd pull out old records, and my mum was a Richard Clayderman fan. Shout out to you, Diane, loving you. Yeah, loved a little Richard Clayderman on the piano at night for dinner music, and then after that, Dad would be cranking some Doors or some Pink Floyd or something, and so music sort of was embedded in me, and that's how I sort of structured my music. You'd go out there and you'd physically buy something, and you'd have a CD collection that was you could fit in your house in the end. And then when you needed a few bucks for a pack of ciggies, you'd go through and work out which ones you were going to take down to. We didn't have cash converters back then. We had the old cash shop, old Cyril's cash shop. You work out which ones you were willing to get rid of, to
Oh, wow.
buy a pack of durries or get a can of 6-pack of beers or something.
Jesus.
And so based on that, I think the whole idea of us, just keeping it to ourselves and giving back a little bit, having a hardline product that we can sort of give back to those hardline fans we've had for so long, would be another really good way to just keep that intimacy we've built, over the last decade of just we play it live,
Mate,
pay
like,
you $5 at the door or fuck off.
the
Yeah.
only problem is, as far as like me being an interviewer goes, it kind of fucks my day up from being here in Sydney.
Mate, my job is not to make your job easy.
I know. You're the musician.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's read a bit of this chat, because there's a couple of people that have jumped in the chat tonight. Good evening to you all, and big shout out to Burnaby Town for following this evening and subscribing. Thank you very much. So, hey dudes, can't wait to see you at Jimna Rocks 2023 Disco. So that was from Burnaby Town.
Nice.
And he said Riser and Jazz, and mate, Burnaby Town is very, very, very pumped up to see you. MMK music, MMK's on the chat too. Says hi guys.
Hey, Kaz.
How you going,
Dylan?
Kaz? What's happening? Oh, and speaking of MMK, this good segue into my next question. How did you have the absolute pleasure of meeting Karen and getting on this Jimna Rocks bill?
Well, we've had a bounce around relationship with Karen for a while. She's seen us play a lot. There's a venue here on the Gold Coast, the Matic Brewery, which do they put sort of shows on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. She saw us once. I could have this timeline, Kaz. I could have it wrong, so forgive me for my wrongness. But like, we knew Waywards and Katie and Katie and Mitch, Dreams of Indigo, they'd been up there a few times and they were having a ball, and they were sort of saying, look, maybe you guys should come up. And so we met Kaz at one of our gigs, and she loved it. She just thought, yes, I'm putting words in your mouth, Kaz.
I'm sure she did.
She did. She loved us, and she really enjoyed sort of the show, and she enjoyed what we did. She had her reservations because it was going to be sort of the hangers-on of the hangers-on of the hangers-on. Like the fact that Waywards and Dreams and us have played so many gigs together. We've kind of all got the same following. We've got the same crew that come to all their different shows. And she was sort of concerned that, were we going to, were we going to be able to bring enough people, or were we just sort of riding on their coattails? No quotes here, I'm sort of paraphrasing a little, but she had her concerns, and then she came and saw us again at a show, and we'd approached her probably the last 2 or 3 years and saying, hey, look, how would you feel about us being on? And she sort of held off a little bit, and then the last show that she saw us, I think it was at Matic, and we just had the place pumping. Like, the manager couldn't even get to the front to tell us to turn it down. We just,
Oh, yes.
just packed it in so tight.
That's good.
Because some of these smaller venues, they don't like big rock acts.
And
And so, yeah, I think we packed it, and we just did what we did, and she enjoyed it and she loved it, and so she offered us a spot. And yeah, we've had a few little hiccups getting there, um, but we've done everything we can to make sure that we're going to get there. We're going to put on the best show that we can put on. We're at 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. You know what I mean? We're during nap time. Let's be honest. But we're just going to make
no.
sure we do everything in our power to absolutely blow the lid off the place. I pity the poor guy that's going to come after us, because we're going to rip the scab off it. Absolutely. You
Well,
know?
mate, I'll tell you, the set list has come out, and it's actually just after. I think you're the first band after the break, if that's the case, or second band after
No,
the
I think
break.
the break's at
Oh, it is
four or
too.
five. So I think we're just before the break. Yeah, we're
No,
just
we'll see.
before.
Here's the best thing about it though. Everyone will just be starting to, like, the drinks will be flowing. Everyone will start to get real primed, and like
Yeah.
the euphoria will be kicking in, and you just got to build everyone right back, right up, and just you want to. I want to hit that peak. I want to hit that peak while I'm seeing you.
Well, I think we want to leave everyone. I think there's another band after us before the break, but we just want to make sure that we get everyone so excited to come back. They're they're running to the food vans to grab as many quick hot dogs and smash them down as quickly as possible so they can get back to the stage and watch the next band. Like, we want to build excitement, and that's what a 2 o'clock in the afternoon band does. Our entire role is to just build as much excitement as we can for the rest of the show. Everyone's got a part to play, and our part's going to be, get jizzing. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, the segues are coming in thick and fast tonight. Well, with all that being said, what can we expect from a Dogtags live set?
Uh, um, don't expect any of us to be 100% sober. Um, we love a good beer, and we'll probably have a quick shot before we get on stage.
That's a warm up.
But you're going to see one guy with his acoustic guitar out the front, absolutely giving his all, absolutely, and three complete wankers behind him having the time of their lives. We're just that's just the formula we play. Like, Scotty's so into the vocals. He's such a great sort of rhythm guitar player. He's got such great moves and such great presence out the front that it's almost like we don't exist sometimes. And the best thing about that is we know the whole show's watching him. So there's just three of us just clowning around like a bunch of dickheads at the back and having the time of our lives. And then when Jared's throwing his solo out there, no one cares about anyone. When Jared's playing solos, no one cares what the other three guys are doing. He just has this. It's this virtuosoness, and he breathes like emotion in everything he plays. So there's just going to be, it's going to be hard focusing. Like, you're not going to see the whole band. You're just going to see the bits of it that are going to matter at that moment, and we really work on that. We really want to deliver that. You've only got two eyes, and they always both focus in the same direction. So, unless you're like this, but while you're watching Scotty and while you're loving what he's putting out there with his beautiful timbre and his voice and his great feel for the songs that he's written, you're not going to notice the fact that there are three complete buffoons in the background doing everything we can to make each other giggle. And then while Jared starts his solo, you won't even notice that Scott just steps aside. He just creates space and creates room, and they're the points where I really just settle down on my beats, and I lose the flair, and I just sort of build this foundation. And the same with Ryan. He'll just make sure that he's just locked in tight to give everyone the space they need to be the individuals we are that creates the whole. We're like Voltron.
Oh,
There's these
all these moving
there's these
parts.
awesome little parts that come together that then give each other the space we need to make the entire show and the entire song work.
That's heaps good,
It's not
man.
just,
It's so
yeah.
good to hear that you guys give each other space, like on stage too. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that you guys say, you know, it gets so chaotic up there as well. See, what I picked up from your description is that not only are you a hard band to interview, you're going to be a very hard band to film on the day too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but in saying all that,
yeah. It's going to be a lot of
like, yeah,
yeah.
the fact that you
Well,
guys give each other the room on the stage as well, and you know when okay, it's time to make sure this person is in their center, in the limelight here. Everyone pull back. Just do what you need to do to
yeah,
make sure this shit works.
it's not even that complicated. It's I think to be a decent muser, you've got to be a giver. You know, you've got to give of your soul. You've got to give of the hard work you've put in. You've got to sort of give, and it's the same thing. Like you just got to give. You got to give everyone what they need to make this show the best show it can be. Um,
Do you want some good news, my friend?
I'm in.
You ready for some good news? And we're just gonna go to my face quickly before I read this good news because in the chat,
Serious face.
MMK has just said, newsflash, you're hearing it here first. Dogtags will now be playing on Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. till 7:15.
Shit, eh? We better call the boys.
You want to send a quick message out while we're chatting so you can let them know if you got a group chat, and I can read you some more of the chat.
So we're taking the Chevelle car. Yeah, we're taking their
You're taking their spot.
Yeah.
You're taking their spot. There you go. There you go. So,
Nice.
Karen did say she did love what you did, and you are a very good pub rock band. And yes, you will rock Jimna. You will. You guys will. And then Stone. Oh, okay, it's gonna be the best. Oh no, it's not a Sunday session now, man. So make sure you get your tickets because the lineup's changing, and you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Thank you, Karen. Whoa,
I'm just
Jimna.
texting the boys as we speak.
There you go. He's texting the boys as we
Saturday
speak.
night, 6 p.m.
There you go.
So the 6 p.m.
6:30 till 7:15. So you got a 45-minute set, man. So you got to bring that noise.
Sweet.
You're gonna have to bring that noise. And now I get to see everything that because this description, I'm sold. I'm sold. I've never seen Dogtags, but I'm sold. I want to see Dogtags. I feel like I've missed out on all this time.
We like to think we are. If you look up rock out with your cock out, there's just us four in the dictionary. You know, like just hang it out, wave it around, hope for the best.
Mate.
And I really hope my wife's not out there watching this live because that door's about to open and she'll come running in with a fry pan.
Oh, it's all right.
She's great.
Mate, you're a rock star.
Shout out to Kate. She's a great wife.
You're a rock star, mate. My wife's the same. Just as long as I don't talk like that in front of the kids, I'm normally okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And yes,
That's
this is awesome, Burner. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining in. Thumbs up and sunglasses face, smiley face emoji.
Is that old Burnabout Town, yeah?
Yeah. Burnabout Town.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Burner. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's been a long-term loyal Dogtags fan.
Oh wow.
We used to play this
Hi, Burner.
Yeah. we used to play this show like Scotty, who's the lead singer, used to live on this property out in Mount Nathan. And once or twice a year, they used to do this thing called the Mount Nathan Jam Fest, and it started with this tiny little stage and little amps, and it was tiny. We used to get heaps of bands. I'm pretty certain that's how. That's one of the first gigs that Mitch and Katie played with Dreams of Indigo. It was one of the early gigs that Wayward's played. Like I used to watch Wayward Sons when it was literally Jess and Brad, and they used to play out at I can't remember. There was like a fruit market out towards Tullabudgera, I think it is. Anyway, out that way, and they used to get paid in a box of fruit and veggies.
Oh.
You know, when it was just the two of them. That's going back years back when it was just the two of them. And then I saw them, you know, when Kane came on board, then Pete joined. You know, and they got my man Sonny, my boy. They got Sonny, you know, at the back, and I've watched them grow, and you know, I've Mitch and Katie, and I'm pretty sure all of their one of the first-ish gigs were out of this thing that used to be the Mount Nathan Jam Fest. And it was just on this guy's property. There was a guy called Nathan Pink. Pink, I'm there. Pink built this massive stage. Like it was unbelievably well built and huge drum risers. We used to get Nathan Bettany to run some sound and do some. And I know I'm dropping names of people that don't know, but Black Dog Electrical, Nathan Bettany, good man. He and between all of us, like I used to MC the thing, and between all these people and all these bands, we'd have bands starting at 2 in the afternoon and finishing at sort of midnight, 2, 3 in the morning, and we'd just have band after band. And it started small and it got bigger and bigger. And the reason I bring this back to young Bern from Burnabout Town is her birthday's New Year's Eve, and we used to always have these jam fests on New Year's Eve. So she would basically hijack the New Year's Eve jam fest and call it her birthday party. A couple of times we got her cakes and the whole place saying happy birthday to her. So, but it's fans like that have got us to sort of where we are now. We started in the trenches, and I think that's the feel we're going to bring to Jimna. We're just going to bring the trenches, bring it with us. We've built, and a lot of bands out there have built what they are from the absolute ground up. Playing all these free gigs and building their fan base from absolutely nothing. And now it's a real privilege getting to play something like Jimna. We play pubs, and we've done our tours and we've done things, but playing something like Jimna, where once again that's another thing's been built from the ground up, built from nothing, created by fans, created by people who really wanted this thing to happen. It's just an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be able to do something like that, because it's part of the same background that these bands have come from. Coming from nowhere, creating the space ourselves, creating the gigs ourselves, creating the fan bases ourselves. Not whinging because we can't get gigs, going out there and building a stage in a paddock and making that the gig, and building everything ourselves. And that's why I like to think we're a successful band, because we've written our own idea of what success is, and we've played to these massive crowds that haven't paid a cent to be there. At the old Mount Nathan Jam Fest, you'd drive through an ocean of tents to get to where the stage was, and there was people just out there camping, and the next morning there'd be a working bee of people cleaning everything up and getting it all sorted to go back to normal, because Scotty and Pink living out there, they didn't want to have to wake up the next morning and have the remnants of a couple of thousand people, so, and everyone would pitch in and get it done. And I think that's why I think we're pretty excited about Jimna, because it's got that same feel. It's the whole idea that a whole bunch of people are pitching in and creating something from nothing. And kudos to Kaz, she's put her ass on the line for it, and she's found the right people that have helped her get there. And so, yeah, we're more than happy to jump in. Like I myself, I'm going to be there on Saturday. I'm going to do my volunteer work. She's having problems getting volunteers, so
you're gonna be there Saturday. You're playing Saturday now.
It might actually, that was my plan. It might be the Sunday now that I'll do a bit of volunteer work. I'll have to do my my stretches and pre-gig ritual for the Saturday night now, and try my absolute. Look, I really liked having the 2 o'clock in the afternoon set, because I wasn't going to be too pissed. But if I'm playing 6:30 on a Saturday night, I'm going to have to, turn the tap off a little bit earlier and not wake up with breakfast beers, because I've got to be on point for this gig now.
You do. See, at least you know now. The main thing is now. You've told the boys now. It's all good. Like you're safe. Burnabout Town said, you haven't lived till you've seen a Dogtags set. Okay. Well, I will be living. I'll be reborn.
Yeah, if you keep this up, Burnabout Town, I'll let everyone know your secret. All right. So.
Well, there's one word that's been written here by Burnabout Town. It says Freemans. Freemans. Or Freemans, or...
I'm just going to text them.
All right.
I'm going to get text crazy woman right now.
Live.
Not live. Okay.
While you're sending that text, so we've spoken about the new and upcoming material. Not to be too... Yeah. damn
Yeah.
smart people with your formulas and building a community around your bloody selves by just playing really quality live shows. Jeez, sound that
And being exceptionally good looking. I
and
just
being
want to say
exceptional.
there's
Look at
four good
that.
looking boys up there.
It's specimen
Yeah.
right there. It's a specimen, Grant.
Eh?
You're a specimen, my friend. Now,
Absolutely.
Bud, quick question that I'd like to ask all our guests that we have on.
Yeah.
What is your favourite album or the album that is most significant in your life, in your musical career?
Look, I've been asked this question a few times, and without thinking about it, I'm going to have to say Grinspoon's Guide to Better Living.
Oh, that's a good album.
It was the first album I ever bought that wasn't like a top 40, you know, oh man, but then I've got to go back to like Motley Crue. No, Motley Crue sort of second last album. I can never remember the name. It was great. But look, I've got to stick with Phil and the boys with Guide to Better Living. It was the music that that made me realise you didn't have to listen to shit FM. You didn't have, there was more out there, and like I came from this really, you know, you either listen to country music or you pulled out one Metallica album to put the next one in. And look, I'm not bagging Metallica. Like, I love the stuff. I think Justice for All was one of the. Okay, Burnabout Town saying Freeman's Organic Farm. That's where Brad and Jess used to play. Freeman's Organic Farm. Oh, on your V.
And Katie says hi. She can't sign in.
Oh, get your technology on, Kate. Anyway, but yeah, when I first heard Guide to Better Living, it just sort of changed. It was like a rock in a pond, you know. It just changed the way I thought about all different, because before then, like the most outlandish sort of thing, like I loved Nirvana, you know, like I was one of those kids that bought Bleach before, you know, Nevermind came out, but it was still very much like I'm doing this because it's scene. I love the music, I love the songwriting, but it was when Guide to Better Living came out. It changed rock. It changed rock, Australian rock, forever. Like, I love Australian rock. I had a radio show for a couple of years called, you know, the Great Australian Rock Machine, and I did nothing but play Aussie rock. You know, I pulled in a bit of New Zealand here and there, you know, but Guide to Better Living was there. I even enjoyed Grinspoon's Easy. You could tell they'd been to the US and they'd been, you know, Nashville a little bit, but it was still really solid stuff. The one band that I've seen more than any other band would definitely be Grinspoon. I think I've been to like 22 or 23 Grinspoon shows. You know, in all different states, all over the place. I was just sort of, I was in that mindset when they were touring everywhere. And look, just to sort of pull back on that, I think the second most played album I've played would probably be Foo Fighters' Colour and the Shape.
There's some two very solid fucking albums.
Yeah,
they're
probably my number one and my number two. Number three would probably be Cake, Fashion Nugget. If you have never listened to the full album of Cake, the first one, Fashion Nugget.
Really?
Solid album. Really solid, completely off key to what I would normally listen to, but they'd be my top three rotations.
That's weird, man. That was that what song did he have? That Short Skirt, Long Jacket. Wasn't either one that done that? Wasn't that Cake?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think that was on the album Comfort Eagle, which is another great Cake song, Comfort Eagle. Awesome.
Wow, jeez. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to go check out some Cake later. Might even eat some too.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah. You know, you can have your cake and eat it too, because why the fuck would you make a cake?
You've lost sound. I don't know how you've lost sound, Karen. Hold on. Just give me 2 seconds. I don't know how you've lost sound. Please.
Just kick it, Karen.
Did you yell at it? Oh, God. It's saying I'm not even there.
Is it first for you? I'm like going, oh, what have we done? There we go.
There we go.
Oh, I think I've lost you. No, you're back. Why the fuck would you make a cake?
You've
lost sound. I don't know how you've lost
No,
sound.
no, no, no. We should be back. We're back. We're back. We're all good. We're all good. I can hear it. I can hear it on my phone. We're good. Alrighty. Jeez. Now.
There you go. Here's a live that you've never experienced before.
Oh,
Well, I wasn't going for a pee break. I just thought I'd do it right now.
okay. We're not going to film that. We're going to put you on mute because I'll get kicked off YouTube. I love it. I love it. I love that. That's part of the game, my friend. That's part of the game. We'll wait till Grant has finished up doing what he's doing, and we'll get back to it. But yes, as I said before, everyone, please make sure you keep up with these streams because there will be Jimna ticket giveaways going very shortly for the... They will be going for the Crave stream and one other one. I will tell you later. But make sure you go check out Two Dudes Talk Music too. If you see that little logo, there will be another ticket giveaway going on over there. Go check us out on Twitch. Once we hit 100 followers on Twitch, we will be doing that giveaway. So it doesn't matter. There's no wait. As long as you're following, we will contact you. We'll do a live stream. We'll send all that out and we'll announce the winner when Raf gets back from America. But yeah, let's get back into this chat. Now, here's one thing that's gotten me, my friend. The community within the rockosphere within Queensland. It's so community based, and the community is so lovely. And you touched on it before, like how there's obviously been a good handful of you that are sort of stuck in the sphere together, or been in the sphere together, and then have watched each other progress through the years. Pick up new members and stuff like that. How much would you say? Because another question I like to ask: say pre-COVID to now post-COVID. How much would you say that the industry has changed within that 2 years, I guess, prior to now following?
Well, look, before the scamdemic, I was playing a lot. It wasn't on a personal note. I was at that time I was playing in about 4 different bands, most of them with Ryan. Um, and it. Look, this is a big question. This is the thing. This is a massive question.
Yeah, I know, because
I think it made us realise how much. Yeah.
Oh, it just feels
No,
like
you
changed. No, it just feels like it's fucking gone all weird.
Well, it's the reason that it changed so much that it was the first time ever where there was a legal precedent stopping musicians from being able to play. Whatever that precedence, however you feel about it, doesn't matter. The fact that all of a sudden, in my lifetime, the man was saying, you can no longer play. And there's a 1,000 different conversations you can have based around that, and all of them are relevant. And whatever anyone thinks about what happened during that period is relevant to them, and it's a justified opinion, no matter what you think, no matter what your decisions were, no matter what your choices were. And I respect all of the decisions that were made over that period. But it was the first time ever where Johnny Law said, "You musos can't play."
Mm.
And it changed. Just I saw people, I saw musos, especially people that were full time. People that had their bread and butter with going to playing gigs. Whether you were just going to the pub on a Saturday, playing you there, or no matter what situation you're in, all of a sudden the answer was no. Can I go play some tunes? Well, no, you fucking can't. You can't. And if you do, you now have to fit within this cookie cutter to be able to play your gigs. But that wasn't for a while. There was just that whole period where the answer was no.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of musos break. I saw a lot of those everyday musos that everyone loves and people. I saw them break, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. And man, if you've spent 10 years on a career that was based around entertainment, which is a just as important a career as anything else out there. You know, if you're making people feel good, whether whether you're a heart surgeon, putting a stent in someone so they can breathe better and live better, or you're giving someone a reason to smile on a Friday night, both those reasons are justified. Both those sort of employment structures are justified and important in this world we live in. Watching someone who built, and I don't want to name names, but it's one person I'm thinking of particular that has spent 10, 15 years becoming a professional musician, and professional musician isn't just you get paid for what you do. It's creating an atmosphere for 4 hours, 3 hours that people are just in tune with and loving. And that product is keeping people in the venue and spending more money in the venue and buying food and drinks and bringing friends in. And watching that person have to go and get a job at a cafe was absolutely heartbreaking for me, because they'd thrown all their, like any good passionate person would do is throw all their eggs in that basket that they're absolutely passionate about, and get to the end of that 15 years just to be told, no, doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter what you've built up to this point, it doesn't matter. Channel number said you can't do it, so now we're going to create laws based on what channel whatever said, and you can no longer go to work. You can no longer do the thing that you're passionate about and you've built. And I liken it to like a doctor. And look, I know a couple of naturopaths. Anyway, story number 55. To become a doctor, to become a specialist in some area, say, like I was talking about before, like a heart surgeon, you're not off the chain for 12, 13 years. So imagine doing that, getting all your university degrees and getting all your specialties and getting to the point you're about to be let off the chain, and someone just says to you, for reasons outside of your control, no. That's what I noticed changed after the the thing that happened.
Yeah, the thing. We'll call it the thing.
The almighty vid. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I've said it a couple of times on streams before, and it's unfortunate. The vid was the make or break for a lot of bands. I watched it happen in Sydney to a lot of bands that were going strong for ages, and it was a very sad thing. It was very, 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 very sad. And you saw some very talented musicians that literally hung it up, and then they're not getting back into it. And I think that's the worst, the biggest injustice of all, of when they took out the music industry, is that a lot of people had to find new ways to get through life, I guess, because music is very therapeutic to a lot of people, and a lot of us do use it as therapy. And when like you said, when that literally gets taken away from you by no fault of your own or anyone else's for that matter, or through someone just creating a law for 2 years,
and that's what I pointed out there. It wasn't a law. It was a mandate.
It was a mandate. Sorry,
mandates mean option. But we're not going down there.
Regardless of what it was, we weren't allowed to go out.
Yeah.
And but has that person gotten back into music?
No.
Oh no. No.
Because it's that. Because it's only just coming back now. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but the last 2 years, all of a sudden everyone's touring and the explosion's gone crazy, which is great. We're getting some bands out here at the moment that haven't come to Australia for a really long time, and you're getting some of those those old touring acts coming back again and bouncing around. And I think because it's affected everyone so much that there needed to be that explosion again, because everyone was pretty much, without being locked down, depending on the town you're in, you really couldn't do much anyway,
Nah.
But now I think people really want to get back into some entertainment and get back into getting in touch with their roots again. There are some awesome bands coming out, but I've seen some of those guys that were just about to get there, and some of those guys that had worked for so long just have the pin pulled, just have the cut pulled out from under him, and and it's going to take another battle to get back in there because there's a lot less venues than there ever were before. A lot less.
The same thing's happening
You
here in
know,
Sydney. That's the scariest part, though. I think I don't think what people don't understand is that pre-pandemic or pre-vid to post-vid, the big problem isn't bands now. It's now venues and getting venues willing to put on rock bands and anything more realistically than a two-piece or a piano man or anything that can just plug in and play
yeah,
where they don't really have to pay the person. That's pretty much top tier option at the moment. That's what they're going for, and it's fucking disappointing. Have you found you've obviously found that being the case in Queensland at the moment?
absolutely. Look, I'm on the Gold Coast, and I moved here about 11 years ago. I moved here with a different band. We were actually all living in Harvey Bay at the time, and we were playing so many gigs on the Gold Coast that we all just decided to move down. You know, there was one year where out of the 52 weekends, we'd driven to the Gold Coast for gigs for 40 of those weekends. You know, and so it was just like it just made more sense to come down and do it. And there were so many venues, and you could, you know, and people were paying, you know, good rock band money for a 3-piece, 4-piece to go in and rock out. And over the last decade, I've just watched them all close one at a time and be replaced by venues that weren't really rock friendly. You know, we're really blessed on the Gold Coast. We've got one of the greatest venues down here. We've got Vinny's Dive Bar. Um, you know, I'm not a big. No one's paying me to say this stuff. If you get a chance, if you're on the Gold Coast, go to Vinny's. Great little venue. Started once again small, and just has expanded. And you've got like the Matic Brewery. But apart from that, there's nowhere else you can really go and see original live, you know, music. Rigid. There's places you can go and watch another cover band, which is look cover bands. Not having a go. We play covers, but I just think there's something special about watching someone go and play something they've written themselves and something that they've manufactured themselves and thrown out there into the world. And there's just very, very limited options for it. You know, you've got the Bazaar, Burley Bazaar, or Barbecue Bazaar. You've got your Vinnies. It's very, very few. And I know a couple of guys that are trying to put different shows on and trying to put different little showcases on, and it just doesn't seem to be working anymore.
Well, like Burnabout Town.
At the same token,
no, what were you going to say? On the same token?
Oh, the same token, you've got Jimna. You know, you've got these smaller little rock festivals that are starting to really pick up again and really starting to sort of showcase some local music. I'm pretty sure nearly everyone there comes from the southeast corner. You know, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sunny Coast. Everyone's and it's showcasing some local tunes, which is rare and I think really needed. You know, and I think the entire communities around it are going to benefit from it because someone's going to see some band from somewhere that did this, and then they'll travel there, and he'll travel here, and people go and start watching live music again. And if people start watching live tunes, venues will pick up on that, and they'll go, "Well, we're going to have to do more of this," you know.
Exactly, and just like Burnabout Town said, lucky for us, there's a resilience in the industry, and we now get to Jimna Rocks, and it's so true, and. You know, like you saying, you know, it captures the hearts. It literally does. It captures the hearts of so many people out in Queensland. So even so much so, the power of Jimna Rocks has even captured the heart of this Sydney boy right here, who's travelling up there, who's basically making it a yearly thing now. That's it. This is it. For as long as Jimna will be organised, I will be going every year. I will be making the trek up there. Next year, I'm taking my kids. It's a family-friendly event. It's something that has to be experienced. Everyone should go and just get moved by seeing someone on a real personal stage creating music and just go experience it. Go feel their energy. Go absorb their energy. And if they move you, you get to talk to them afterwards. Because at the end of the day, every single musician that you see on TV, that you see do these video clips that make millions of dollars, they all started off as Grant. They literally started off as Grant. And this is, and it's you know, like it's so easy for me to say because I get to do this, I get to talk to these people and all this stuff, but especially now, except for these guys with Spotify, you can go listen to all the bands before you go up there, so you know, at least know what you're in for. There's no excuse now not to go find new music, mate. When you see those ads drop from Dogtags, go look at the other bands. Every band's got stuff on there now. The internet is a fucking endless tool. It's a cesspool of music. We've all got music out there. I've got music on there, for Christ's sake. Come on. That's my little rant. Far out.
Rant away, brother. Rant away.
No, but it's true. You know, like we can all sit here and go, oh, you know, it'll never be like the 80s. It'll never be like the 90s. It'll never be like this. It's only not like that because we don't make the effort to make it like that anymore. And everyone can turn around and go, oh, the bands aren't like they were back then. No, they're better. They're better. Cold hard facts. Like,
I'd love to look back. I'd love to look back in 50 years and go, man, those 2020s, they were rocking. You know, they were killer. Yeah.
And mate, they will be. And you have a look at Knotfest that just happened. You've got the World is a Vampire tour that's coming up soon and stuff like that. But people need to start getting engaged with these more grassroots, on the grassroots level, because it's an amazing thing. Jimna Rocks is an experience. Go get your ticket.
I think it's 100, 120 bucks, you know, for Jimna. That's your camping. You know, that's 2 full days of music. You get to finish it off with Wayward Sons. And if you've never seen the Wayward Sons, you're totally doing yourself a disservice. They are probably the most fun band that I've ever had the privilege of watching, let alone knowing. You know, I think that's the tail end of Sunday night. I think they finish off the whole thing is the Waywards. And yeah, they're just gonna take all that emotion that's been built up over those 2 days and just absolutely destroy it. And if you don't go back to your tent and pass out from exhaustion after watching the Waywards, you haven't done it right. You know, you've been doing it backwards the whole time.
And see, that's the best part about this shit.
We just hope we can add to that.
Mate, and you will. You know, like you have a look at the lineup so far. Everyone that I've interviewed has just been absolutely spot on. You could, like, all talented, all really, really well-rounded people. Now, before we wrap up, because we're going to wrap this up very shortly, one question I always like to ask. I like to ask a lot of questions, is what I do. But this one is for you to answer to all those lovely people out there. So if, just say I was a bright-eyed young fella, I've just picked up my first guitar, I've got a couple of lessons, I've got a couple of mates that want to start a band, what would be, and you look me in my undead pretty little hopeful eyes and say, what's the best piece of advice that you're going to give that young fella to start a band, to flourish?
I've probably got 2. Maybe 3.
Yeah, go for it,
First
man.
of all, mate, pick wisely. Don't play in a band or play with people just because they're great musicians. Pick people that you like and end up and pick people that you think you're going to end up loving, because my band is just as tight as my family. I know I could call any one of those boys anytime, day or night, and they'd be there for me. So pick wisely. You know, these aren't going to, if you end up doing anything with them, you're going to end up going through the best and the worst times of your life with those people. I probably should change that a bit now, because I now have a wife and baby. Hello, sweetheart. Best times was with you. But you're going to go through some amazing times and some really heartbreaking times with these people. So choose wisely. You know, if the guy you got playing drums for, you're playing bass for, is your best mate, you know what? That's enough. It is absolutely enough. Practice builds talent. There's nothing you can do that can make people better. You know, like, just be with someone that you have the ability to love and knows has the ability to love you, because you're going to need that, especially if you're going to start touring, if you're going to start playing heaps of gigs, if you're going to have to start loading speakers in and out of a pub with drunk bastards all around you. You're going to need a solid group of people around you. Um, and the second thing is, don't be afraid to rehearse. Like, there's practice and there's rehearsing.
Ooh.
So if you want to get better at your chops and get better at what you're doing, that's what you do alone. Okay? You don't go to your band practice to rehearse your trade. All right? If you're a guitarist, that's you in your room by yourself with your headphones on, with your click track going, with your music on, whatever it is, with your sheet up. Band practice is to practice being a band. And it's not always about it's not always about getting everything right. It's about how you're gonna be a band. And sometimes band practice can be a couple of beers and a good long chat and play 2 or 3 tracks. But you've got your practice and you've got your rehearsal, and both have very, very different parts. And I say this because I've been in bands and I've been the receiver and the and the bad guy in this as well. Don't treat band practice like it's your own personal rehearsal space. Get your chops down at home, and then when you're in band practice, you got to practice being a band. That's why it's called band practice. That's why it's not called Grant solo rehearsal time.
That's
You
some
know,
fucking real shit right there.
just when you're with the boys or with the girls, or I can only talk from my personal little box right now with Dogtags. Here we are. That's us right there.
Love the
And
merch,
the
man. By
boys.
the way, I shall be acquiring a dog tag shirt while I'm up at Jimna. Are you gonna have stocks at Jimna?
Oh, I better talk to their manager. I'll see if something can happen. We'll make it happen for you, buddy. I'll make sure we get something sorted for you.
Cool.
If you notice, get your tags on shirt. Um, we found these at a Vinnie's, and I believe they promote OzTag, which is a particular sport. But hey, we stole them and we wear them. Get your tag on. But yeah, just getting back to it.
Yeah, you were talking.
Just yeah,
So you had the surrounding stuff with the right people. Band practice being band
yep,
practice, and not time to get my
yep,
chops right and practice my craft.
yep, yeah. That's yeah, that'll do. Two's enough.
Well, man, I
You
gotta
know,
say, like, I could
separate them.
not. It's really weird that you say that, because when I was doing the whole band thing, it was very much like that, where I warmed up in the car. I didn't even. It was like a real unconscious thing, I guess, as well. Is that I warmed up in the car and stuff like that. But when I was in there, we might have only gone through 1 or 2 songs, but it was all about the brotherhood. Look, just trying to get the band exist within what it was called back then. Just really focusing on that live show, because if mate CD, like, even when we were doing it back then, yeah, Spotify and shit wasn't enough. You had to bring the noise at your live show, because people want to come out and see a fucking good rock show. And if you're not doing that, people aren't coming back to see you, man. They'll just go listen to your CD
That's
and not
right.
fucking worry about it.
Yeah. And going back to point one, it just takes one dickhead, and no one's coming back to your show.
Ooh, it sounds like you have an
Takes one
experience.
dickhead in the band. You could have. Oh, of course.
Go
I
on,
mean,
give us your worst story.
yeah.
You don't
I
have to
wouldn't
name
name
names.
but
You don't have to name names.
I was living in Harvey Bay. I used to play in this sort of rock folk outfit, and the lead singer would just whatever he was listening to that day is what he'd bring to the stage. This one time he decided that he was going to tune his guitar down to E flat, because that's what Kurt Cobain did, but neglected to tell the rest of the band. So there's and at the end of the show, I was like, man, you watch the look on people's faces. At the end of the show, I was like, man, you were so out of tune. He went, yeah. I tuned everything down half a step because that's what Kurt did. And it's like, bro, the whole band did that. It wasn't just one guy, And
I know people like to
I
turn
don't
around.
think if you're watching, yeah.
That's painful.
But it's just that one story. It just takes one dickhead. And look, there's a dickhead and there's a dickhead.
Yeah.
There's 4 dickheads on stage having the time of their lives. People love it.
Yeah. When you have one
There's
dickhead, 3 people taking it seriously, it doesn't go very far.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well,
I may have opened that can a little bit too hard
hey,
there, but
nah,
yeah,
look. At the end of the day, one of the reasons why I do this is for hopefully to promote the shit out of Jimna and to really promote the shit out of the bands as well. But for hopefully if any young or any bands that just want to see what it's like to get into the grassroots level, because that's all we talk to here. We don't talk to nothing big. We talk to everything
yeah,
that's local. You know, we like everything that's small because at the end of the day, we want to get on the stories first, and this is where they start.
yeah.
And yeah, people got to understand that this is what it's all about. You know, get out to your local fucking shows again, people. Get out, go.
Yes, they're out there, and most of them are really cheap. Most places you can still get in for 10, $15,
Yep,
and someone has 2, 3, 4 bands on,
yep,
and they're going to be 4 people that you've never heard of in your entire life.
yep. And like I
But I
said,
guarantee you walk out of there and go, they were, yeah,
there's still no excuse not to hear them though, because go on your Spotify's, go on their social medias. You can find something.
yeah.
And then you can go experience it, because nothing beats a live show, man. All right, Grant. I loved having you on tonight, man. You really capture that.
Thanks, buddy.
You really capture that old school mentality perfectly. And
Thanks, buddy.
I could not really affirm, like really press this more, that don't put anything on Spotify for at least a year after you bring out that album. Like seriously, if you guys have actually got
All
that,
right, I'll definitely take it on board.
because if you guys have actually got that following, there's decent money to be made in your first album or your EP if you want to split it in half and then do it as 2 separate ones. You know, but yeah,
Yeah. So if you got an itchy nose,
just scratchy. Yeah.
something going on there. Yeah.
But yeah, Greg, give everyone a wave.
Oh, this was fun, buddy.
Dude, thank you, dude. I'm glad you had a good time. Give everyone a
Hey.
mad wave. I'm going to tell everyone how they can go acquire these lovely tickets for Jimna, and then don't go anywhere because we'll have a chat after I end the stream. Guys,
Sweet, mate. Look, get yourself to Jimna, guys. Absolutely. Come and see us at Dogtags. 4 crazy guys. Keep watching Buddy's channel. He does a really, really good job, and he's definitely a part of the kind of thing we're trying to build for the community.
oh man, see,
Thanks,
he's gonna make me blush on camera. Stop it. But don't forget, guys, Dog Tags will be playing now on Saturday at 6:30 till 7:15 p.m. That 45-minute set, and I cannot wait to bust my dog tag cherry. And there's going to be so much. I'm going to be so drunk. It's going to be mad. I might even get up and have that shot with them before they start the set. Let's do that.
Yeah, great
Let's
plan.
do that.
It's down.
It's down. Oh, God. All right, everybody. Don't forget, please head on over to Mosh Tickets, and check out Jimna, or go to the Jimna Facebook page and go click on their links. Go directly over there and go get yourself a ticket. If you go and use in the promo code tag thing at the bottom and type in Dogtags, DOGTAGS, you will incur a discount code. I don't exactly know how much that discount is, but you will get a discount. So, dog tags, keep it up there. Yeah. All right, y'all. Stay beautiful. Take it easy. And don't forget, tomorrow night, same time, same bat time, same beer channel, we'll have Josh from Joshy Dreads and the Happy Rays on. So make sure you check that out. We'll be back at 8:30. And we will see you soon. And Thursday also we will have the Haters on, 2 Dudes Talk Music, so make sure you guys check that out. And bring back the mid-set shots. Ooh. Did you guys used to have shots mid-set?
Yes, we did used to have shots mid-set.
Well, that's going to have to happen on that's going to have to happen.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's when I'll come up. All right, y'all. Don't forget, 8:30 tomorrow night, we'll have Josh on. So it's a $46 discount. So that's a $46 discount if you use dog tags. And don't forget, people, if you use dog tags on that promo code, money will go directly back to the band. So a percentage of that sale will go directly back to the band. So you'll be not only helping out Jimna, you'll be helping out Dog Tags too. Guys, take it easy. Please tune in tomorrow for Josh Dreads.